Yeah.
Um, First of all, I would like to give you thank you because taking some minutes of your time to attending me for Valencian Metal.
No problem.
It's your first interview this year?
This year?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I've done many many interviews this year. So it's it's the end of the year, so it's has been quite a lot of things happening before.
Okay. This year, Borknagar celebrates the 25 years anniversary since your debut album. Did you honestly think that you would reach the age of a quarter of a century to being a cool band as you are now?
No, no. I in the beginning, I had no big or plans for the future or anything like that. For me, it was just about the moment, the passion for doing music. I just wanted to do this debut album, and in the very beginning, it was more like a project. I just had a vision about this album, this debut album, and that was everything that matters actually at that point. I didn't have any plans of being, releasing 11 albums, traveling the world and all that stuff. There was no plans like that back in the day. And, I think that's an very honest, position. I think that, for me, life have always been like that. I mean, life happens. You cannot plan life too much, in my opinion.
Some people describe Borknagar as avant-garde. I don't know if you are agree with this description. And as a musician, can you explain me a little bit what is avant-garde for you?
Avant-garde, I don't know. People, that's not my job in a sense, because I've journalists and everybody else tell me what my music is. I don't know. I just do my music. And it's really not my job. And actually, since the beginning of the band, I wanted to escape all these musical tags. I didn't want to be a typical thrash band or typical death or black metal band for that sake. I wanted to be, my band. That's it. But in terms of avant-garde, I can relate to that in a sense that, I mean, we have always been a band that has progressed. We've always taken musical risks. We have always done different things than everybody else, I would say. That's the nature of the band. I mean, that's the reason why I, as a musician, and the band as a band exist, really. What it's I just got some notification on my PC here. I don't understand. Okay, whatever. So yeah, I can relate to the avant-garde expression because we have always been, challenging and for me, music have always been a typical kind of a musical journey, expedition, or adventure, so to speak. And for me, music should, at least my understanding of music is a very human artifact. I mean, animals doesn't listen to music. Music doesn't matter for the plants, as far as we know. But for us humans, music is such a powerful thing, and that is that is what I like about it. I mean, it's a very genuine human thing. And to me, to do honest music is about being close to life, in a sense, to I mean, in my case, use life with all its ups and downs, all the turns, all the sunny days, all the rainy days, in also to get all that into one song or album or whatever. I for me, music is a very human thing, and should be so.
Maybe
so, and that's my main point. I mean, we humans always evolve. We always move forward. I mean, it's the reason why we actually walk forward, not backwards. If you get my point, it's the default setting of life, in my opinion. So for me, doing progressive avant-garde music, it's a very natural thing, I would say.
maybe the journalist taking this etiquette, I don't know the name in English now, because you mix so many kinds of styles, so it's so
Maybe that,
contemporary in this case.
yeah, maybe, definitely. I mean, we use all sorts of musical inspiration. I mean, everything from classic music, movie soundtracks, pop, folk music, and of course metal a lot. I mean, you know, to me, I mean, we humans, we have such a, I don't know, of course I do that the same thing as well, but I mean, we humans have a tendency to make borders everywhere. I mean, between countries, between musical styles, we are so kind of focused on labeling things. I don't know really why, but I've always questioned that in a sense. I mean, why should we always label things? I mean, you know, if we sometimes wolf is just there and people is just there, and you know, I don't know, we have, in my opinion though, we humans have such a very kind of strong tendency to, yeah, label things, and sometimes it's necessary. I mean, in terms of medication and a lot of stuff in life, that is important because it's a question of life and death. But there is a lot of other things in life that why you know, why bother really? Why should we, you know, whatever. But so it is.
Borknagar, sorry, have two vocalists, the Vortex and Lars, and they too have very different registers for me. How do you decide who sings what?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it has very, you know, as basically everything else in our music, it comes quite natural, to be honest. I mean, we always have a, of course, we have an idea, we have a plan about making a new album and all that stuff, and I have some basic ideas about songs and different themes and stuff like that, but we let that live and breathe on its own in a sense when we produce it. So it depends. I mean, last time me and Simon and Lars, we just hooked up in my studio here, had some beers and some food, and that's it, locked ourselves in the studio for 3-4 days. And we kind of just did what felt right. We you know, we tried and tested. Nah, that wasn't cool, but okay, Lars, yeah, try something new on this theme, for example. So we, at least on this last album, we just let it happen. I mean, we just bouncing ideas, trying different things. First Simon trying something, and yeah, no, it wasn't really his theme. It didn't really work in regards to his voice, for example, and Lars did something instead, and yeah, that works better, and maybe a combination, or you know, things like that. So it's and I think in the creative process, I think that is important. I mean, if you have too much plans, if you have too much, of course you should always have a vision, an idea, a bigger thought about the music album, but if you plan it too much, it limits the creativity, in my opinion. So it's a matter of, it's more for me a matter of having the opportunity to actually play around with ideas, to actually see what happens when we gather together as a band, when we just sit listening to the music, maybe a little bit drunk and maybe, you know, good mood and all that stuff, and suddenly just, you know, there comes ideas and themes, and we kind of listen to lyrics and maybe like something like this, and so I think that is a part of the creativity that was very good for us on this, especially in the latest album, because you know, it's these days everybody has a computer, everybody has sound card, everybody can basically do an album at home. But in my opinion, that sometimes limit a little bit creativity, because you don't get this band dynamics anymore in the same sense. You don't get together as a band, you don't fight over good ideas, so to speak. You don't argue, you don't need to test your ideas. So in the same, if I'm just sitting here in my studio alone playing my guitar, making songs, I have no people questioning what I do. I just do it. And of course, when I do the basic song writing, I prefer that. I don't want anybody to pick on me and to disturb me and all that stuff. But when we are on you know, when the songs are somehow written, the demos at least, I kind of want the opposite situation. I want more want to the situation where I want people to interfere and to try to, yeah, maybe it's better to do this, or maybe it's better to do that, and you know, whatever. That's, to me, a creative process in itself. So yeah.
When True North were launched, did you read any review about really crazy interpretations that didn't come close to what you wanted to transmit?
Oh yeah. I think, you know, we have been around for such a long time, and you know, we you know, there is some journalist that has been doing reviews for albums like 6 times. We know the names and everything. Of course, there is journalists that kind of, we feel that understands what we want to transmit, want to say with the album, definitely. And to be honest, on True North, it wasn't too complicated. It wasn't like really kind of sorcery or any magic stuff going on. It was, that album was actually pretty close to life in a sense. It was very kind of realistic, very down to earth. We
For
didn't
me, it's
want
like a
to,
journey, like a trip.
yeah, exactly. And that was basically what we wanted with this album. We didn't want to, you know, like some of the previous albums you have done has been more philosophic, has been more like, you know, asking questions, you know, what should we, you know, with, you know, kind of the pondering man in the woods, just sitting around thinking about what is going on. But the True North was yeah, more like adventure in the you know, we just wanted to bring our fans, our listeners, onto a journey through the ice cold, through the north, through, you know, the powers, the you know, we wanted to share some of yeah, the feelings, our notions, the realism, the life in the north where we live. And that was pretty much it. We you know, there isn't too much, wasn't complicated. It's pretty simple. It is what it is.
Yeah. The True North European tour was rescheduled this year for the second time for the next year. This affected to your plans for participation in summer festivals or to plan another tours, or did you close anything yet?
No, you know, it has affected everything. I mean, we were supposed in 2020, we were supposed to tour USA. We were supposed to do a lot of festivals in Europe. We were supposed to do this True North European tour. And it, of course, everything was postponed to 2021. And we thought that, yeah, that will happen. But no. And then we had to postpone everything again. And unfortunately, we had to cancel this True North European tour, but instead we do this tour together with Moonspell and My Dying Bride and a few other bands. So nowadays we are actually, right now we are working a bit trying to revive the USA tour with Rotten Christ next year from April. Let's see how it goes. I don't know. I mean, it is extremely difficult being a musician these days because you cannot plan anything really. We have done so many plans, and now this time will work, and we have, you know, promoted it on our Facebook, and everybody's, yeah, let's go, and it's like, no fuck. so you know, it's I don't know. I really don't know. We are supposed to do a festival in Switzerland now, the 8th of January. We still don't know. We don't know if it will happen or not. We try to do it. We try to, you know, talking with our management and everything, but it's like, you know, we don't know what to do, to be honest, right now. Should we buy the plane tickets or should we not? I mean, that's the question right now.
Yeah. But the last November, you participated in Carmuigedon Festival. So how it goes to get back at the stage for the last time you have a show?
Well, it was really cool. I mean, it was really, really nice meeting up with friends and, you know, the whole metal community. It was a really cool atmosphere. And, you know, it felt like almost like a Liberation Day or something. You know, everybody was having a good time. To be honest, we didn't do our best show because, you know, I mean, there was, you know, I don't know. The technology wasn't on our side on this show, to be honest. But you know, it was great to meet people again. That was really fun. So it was just a tiny taste of normal life, and that was good. But now again, you know, I don't know, but in Norway now it's all red again, and everything is locked down, and you know, all concerts, there is no concert at the moment, and no, you're not allowed to buy beers on pubs and stuff like that in Norway. So now everything is back to lockdown, basically.
Okay. I read, but I don't know if they affect to too many things. But as a journalist, I always have curiosities. Can you tell me why the so many Scandinavian extreme metal band has a very intimate connection with nature that we can't find in another worldwide music scene? Is for any reason in particular?
I got that question many times, and I don't know if I have the answer, but I have some thoughts maybe. But you know, it's might be different opinions about it. But to me, I think that, you know, Norway is a relatively big country, and there is quite a small population. I mean, we are only like 5 million people, and we have a quite big country, long country at least. We have, you know, from the south to the very north of Norway, there is like 2,500 kilometers or something like that. It's like the same distance from you know, whatever, to Moscow to Paris or something like that. So it's a long country, and so we kind of have very different nature. You know, from north is very different from the south, for example. The west coast is very different from the east coast, because on the west coast we have the high mountains and the fjords. On the east coast there is more the woods and the plains and stuff like that. So but I think maybe some of the reason is because that Norway, I think, you know, we live there is a lot of nature in Norway. I mean, everybody, if you share the nature and everybody in Norway, we have a lot of nature here. I mean, I grew up in the countryside, and I didn't go to a kindergarten, or of course I went to school when I had to go to school, but before that I was living my childhood in the woods with my knife, making you know, huts, climbing trees, making, you know, whatever. And I think that is, I mean, the skiing culture in Norway, it's very common, at least for my generation, to spend the weekends on the mountains skiing, for example. A lot of people in Norway have huts on the mountain. We, on the other hand, have a house in, or I have a house in France, though, so I've done the opposite thing. But you know, there is I think that there is something with the whole cultural environment in Norway, because we just live a bit, I think, a bit closer to nature, a bit more old school, I think, maybe than you know, people living in Paris or Madrid or whatever, you know. And most of us do. Most of people in Norway, maybe not the last, I mean, because everybody is moving to the cities the past years, but you know, in my generation, when we was young, most people in Norway was living in the bush, or was living out on the countryside. So I think that I think it's quite simple. The fact that I think most of us, of my generation at least, has grown up on the countryside, in the forest, in the nature, on a mountain. That has been our playing ground. At least that has been my playing ground. And you know, it's and there is a kind of a brutal side to it. You know, in just behind me here, we have the biggest mountain in Bergen, the highest mountain in Bergen. I've been there many times. It's a wonderful trip walking. It's a day trip up and down, and it's beautiful, and it's epic, and it's everything you see in a postcard. But it is also extremely dangerous. I mean, almost every year people dies up on this mountain. Because it's so ominous. You know that the weather can shift in a matter of minutes, from sunny, shiny weather to fog and mist and just rain, and you are lost, and you are really screwed if you don't know your you have your mountaineer skills, so to speak. So it's I think that, you know, we have at least speaking for myself, I've been living in nature. I've been feeling the forces of nature in a sense, and to me those feelings are really powerful. And you know, when making music, it's natural for me to try to portray these what is crucial in my life, what makes my life different from other lives, for example, what makes an impact in my life, and that is nature. I've grown up on the mountain. My father was a mountaineer, and you know, my grandfather before that, he was in the resistance in the Second World War, and he was running up in the mountain, hiding weapons to share with the rest of the resistance in the different valleys around the area and stuff like that. So, you know, we have a history of being, you know, our playing ground, our working ground, our, you know, everything we do has something to do with nature, I would say. So it's
very difficult. Don't feel the influence in nature.
Yeah, you can't, and you can't deny that, in my opinion. And I think that you know, some parts of you is what you are, and you can't hide that away. And again, for me, music should be about honesty. I couldn't do. There is certain types of music I never, or image or styles, or I could never do, because it's not my type. It's not my. I don't belong in this, if you get my point. It's not my way of expressing myself. I'm a Norwegian guy, grown up on them in the woods of the Norwegian forests, and well, that's what I am.
And finally, do you already have new compositions for a new album, or it's too early?
Yeah, we have quite a lot of composition, actually. So it's more a matter of starting to record the album and stuff like that, I would say. We don't stress it though, because I don't want you know, the creativity process have any element of stress. I want to do it whenever we feel like doing it. But yeah, we have some plans, we have some thoughts, we have a lot of materials, so no problems.
Okay. So Øystein, it was a pleasure to interview you from our website. Thank you so much for everything. Take care, and until the next time.
Take care, you as well, and thank you so much for the support and everything, and have a beautiful holidays.
You too. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.